Hi, I've created this Halloween themed cake for you. It's using my fretwork tree cutter and my cobweb stencil. I hope you'll enjoy the techniques and be able to make it for your family and friends. Thanks for watching. This is the fretwork tree that I'm making to go on the feature Halloween cake. I'm rolling out some Mexican paste and then I'm placing it onto my fretwork tree cutter, which I've lightly greased with Trex or vegetable shortening, rolling over the top to make sure that you've got a nice clean cut to the outline. Remove the paste carefully. Making sure that you don't tear, and if needed, a small scriber is useful to remove the paste from the tree cutter. When turning it over, carefully lift the tree and pull it away from you so that it reveals the cut branches. These are all kept together. You will make some additional cuts later on in the tutorial if you wish to do the cross section of the tree. Use a palette knife or scalpel to cut off the remaining paste, taking care that you bring the scalpel away from you as you cut. If you find that you need to use a little bit of corn flour on your fingers or a little bit of Trex, then this will help with the edges. Using the veining tool, mark on any indentations you want to have on the branches. Make a little indentation down on the tree trunk itself, and this you can enlarge a little bit later on by adding some more texture. You can start to design the shape of your tree trunk depending on how long you want it or how wide you want it for the particular themed cake that you're making it for. If you take a look at my website, you'll also see that I've used the fretwork tree on a Christmas cake, and this has also been used with a stag cutter as well. So you can see the versatility of the cutters. They've got lots of different uses, and also as well you can see how creative they are. Cutting the root section of the tree, you can make as many as you want to, but what you need to do is to cut them long enough so that you can then pinch them together and twist them to get the gnarled effect that you would find on an old tree. Adding more texture creates more detail, which will then be highlighted when you apply colour, either by using brush colour or a dry powder, or in this case I'm going to use black food colouring as I airbrush this over the dry tree. So carefully twist the roots so that you can get them into the position that you want. This takes a few minutes to do, so depending on how many roots that you want to have from the base of the tree, cut as many as you feel that you would like to have. Once you're happy with your tree shape, a little tip when transferring it: if you slide a piece of paper underneath the tree, this stops it from distorting, and you can then slide this either onto an absorbent surface like a piece of foam sponge, or in the example that I'm showing here, onto the reverse side of a cake board. To make the tree stand up, what I've done is rolled out a second piece and cut this in half with a scalpel, giving you a right and left piece for the back of the tree. Place all of these to dry for about 24 hours on a piece of foam sponge, and then turn them over, checking that you've got no bare edges or any rough pieces on the side of the tree. What I've done here is switch the right to the left, vice versa. And then I'm going to use some royal icing. And the royal icing is a soft peak, and I filled a number 2 piping tube with the icing. This is going to support both sides of the tree on the back, and then using pieces of foam sponge cut at an angle, I'm going to support the tree as it dries. The water brushed on the edge of the Mexican paste allows the icing to stick to it better rather than placing it on completely dry. And then when you have both pieces in the situation that you want them to dry, checking at the bottom of the tree where you have the roots to make sure that they are level. If you use a soft paintbrush, you can brush this down the middle of the tree, or adjust any areas where there is icing that needs to be brushed down so that it's smooth and it doesn't look too ugly. So if you leave this to dry, I would say for about 12 hours, and then it's ready for you to apply the colouring. So what I've done here is I've mixed up some black paste colour with some water and used a syringe to take out the colouring and transfer it into the reservoir of the airbrush, and then go over in a sweeping movement action so that you can get the colour as deep as you want it, turning it over very carefully so you can spray the colour on the back, and also as well give like dark patches to give more character to the tree. So again, when you have added the colour as you want, I've then prepared some royal icing in black and fitted this in a number 2 tube, securing a little bit of black sugar paste onto the cake, and then I'm going to use a modelling tool just to place a few indentations before I secure the tree into place. Now it's a good idea as well when you do this, maybe to put a little piece of foam sponge until it's fully dry. Adding a little bit more royal icing around the back and also the roots really ensures that you've got the tree anchored well to the top of the cake. Add the remaining details to the cake. You can find the instructions on the tutorial I posted, Halloween, showing you how to make the pumpkins, ghosts and spiders' webs. Visit my website, Stephen Benison Sugar Artistry, for a full range of cutters, stencils, moulds and much more.